You're listening to the ESO Network, your station for all things geek.
Welcome to episode 339, or what I like to call the final episode of the SoulForge podcast.
Welcome to the SoulForge, a place of silent mystery, quiet contemplation, and outright mayhem. Join your host, Sean Vanderloo, as he guides you through the adventures of living. Together, we'll talk about life and love, sex and dating, joy and heartache, memories and loss, and so much more. Don't worry, it's not nearly as pretentious as it sounds. Get ready for life, the universe, and everything on the SoulForge.
Hey everybody, I am your current, present, and ever shall be your host of the podcast, and I have decided, at long last, to end this motherfucker, because that's enough. And with me to celebrate 7+ years of podcasting is Brother Robin.
Hello, Brother Sean, and wow, this is history, isn't it?
History in the making. It does seem that just over 7 years is my podcast limit.
Yeah.
As everyone knows, I started podcasting in 2014.
That's correct.
With the Rusted Robot podcast, your weekly dose of pop culture goodness. That ended after 7+ years at 331 episodes. And this episode here is 339 of SoulForge. So we did manage to beat the record of Rusted Robot.
That's impressive.
And you were on Rusted Robot.
I was on the Rusted Robot.
And you've been on SoulForge many times.
I've been on the SoulForge many times.
You once had your own podcast.
I did once have my own podcast, the Space Jam podcast.
And we did multiple crossovers.
Multiple crossovers. There was lots of fun. I got my start doing the Robin Road Report.
Oh, that's right. I had forgotten about that.
Yeah.
Yes, because I was living up in Timmins while you were here in the Sault Ste. Marie.
That's right.
And you would send in randomly. You'd be in your van, and you'd send updates about all kinds of random things.
Yeah, it was mostly like pop culture and movie news and trailers and whatever was happening in the world of entertainment at the time. Yeah.
Oh, that's nostalgic.
Yeah, very.
I've still got all those old MP3 files on my computer.
Oh, fantastic.
I have not listened to them, mind you. And I'm sure they were bad and the sound quality was horrible.
Oh,
but,
I'm sure.
It was a good run.
It was a good run, yeah.
And SoulForge has had a good run as well. I was going to keep it until maybe next May when the early hosting fees ran out, but I've been running out of gas on this thing.
Yeah, you have been. That's why you keep bringing me back.
It's true. Yeah. You weren't supposed to point that out.
Oh well, yeah.
Yeah, but that's okay. That's fine. And so
they say something about every 7 years you're supposed to grow and
that's right,
regenerate
shed your
skin. So it's a good way to, and you've got another podcast on the go now. So
that is true.
That is true. Why don't you tell the listeners of the SoulForge podcast a little bit about that?
I shall, and I'm sure they're sick to death of hearing about it. But it's called the Have Coffee Will Travel podcast, hosted with my wife Leah.
Right.
And I think we've got maybe 7 episodes out right now.
Well, 7, so you got 7 more years to go.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yep.
Yeah. And I think I will play this as the 8th episode on Have Coffee, because we don't have an episode this week because we are in the process of moving and packing and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
So I think actually when I did the final episode of Rusted Robot, I played that on the SoulForge podcast.
That makes sense, yeah.
So it's natural that the final episode of SoulForge will be on Have Coffee.
It just segues right over.
Doesn't it, though?
Yeah.
It just does.
Speaking of segueing, let's segue into this promo.
For another podcast right here on the ESO Network.
All right, Monkeeing Around. Look at the picture and tell me what you see.
I see a sitcom whose cast became a real band.
Whose creators were founding members of the new Hollywood movement.
This is obviously a bunny and a chicken.
Looks like a band who sold 75 million records.
And who should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
It's a bunny and a chicken.
4 consecutive #1 albums.
A bunny and a chicken.
2 Emmy Awards.
A bunny and a chicken.
Monkeeing Around.
A bunny and a chicken.
Podcast about the monkeys.
A bunny and a chicken.
And I don't know what that is yet because I haven't edited this thing because I'm recording it as we speak. But that'll be the final promo for an episode of ESO here on Soulforge. And that is a monumental occasion.
Monumental.
It's true. It is very true. What I will do now is make the great appeal for all of you listeners out there. If you haven't already downloaded, subscribed, and liked the Have Coffee Will Travel podcast, go do that because you'll not hear any more Soul Forges. There'll be no more Soul Forges for you out there in podcast land.
No more Soul Forges for you. I do have coffee right now, and I traveled to your place.
We are at our house right now.
That's right.
Actually, Leah's house. We just sold it there last month, and in 2 weeks...
Excuse me? 2 weeks.
We will be moving.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It's very exciting.
I know this is what is this? Probably your 942nd moving experience, but you should have it down pat by now.
It's not 900 and that many, but it's around 47.
47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. No!
Or so, probably since I was a very young baby.
Yeah.
Because babies are very young.
Yes.
So
yes,
why I said that, I don't know. But it's an anything goes Soulforge episode.
Oh, it's anything goes. Finally, I can let loose and be me. And
when have you ever not been you?
well, that's true. That's true.
Right?
Yeah.
Exactly. That's true.
Do you expect anything less?
I would never expect anything less.
Anything less would be too uncivilized.
What is that from?
That is an old Hulk Hogan commercial, deodorant commercial.
Ah, right. Was that Hulk Hogan?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yes. One of your favorite wrestlers.
From
eh?
back in the 90s, yeah.
Oh, the 90s.
The 90s were a
Such
good time.
nostalgia.
Yeah.
Before the internet and smartphones and the downfall of civilization.
Yeah.
Oh, good times. Going back, way back in the Wayback Machine,
Okay.
7 years ago, when we started the Soulforge podcast,
Mm-hmm.
before it even made it to air, you and me and brother Curtis went on a road trip and recorded the first episode.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember that? I think it was actually it became episode 13 or 14, but it was the one where we were in the hotel room late at night after driving all day.
Yes.
And you guys interviewed me.
That's right. Yeah.
It was like an hour-long conversation about just random things. And that was a fun episode.
That was a fun episode.
And that was a fun road trip.
It was a fun road trip. We'll have to do it again sometime.
Yeah, do you remember where we went?
We went to Niagara Falls.
We did.
We went to see a concert.
Oh, Garbage and Blondie.
Garbage and Blondie.
That's right.
We made our way over to Cedar Point.
Was that the Cedar Point trip?
That was the Cedar Point trip.
Okay, yeah.
Because we've only done 2 trips, or 2 brother excursions.
Right.
One was hiking,
Oh, that was...
where we almost died.
Right. Let's tell the listeners about that, because that was before Soulforge.
That was before the Soulforge.
So I think that was 2015, actually.
I think so.
Yes.
Something like that.
And our brother Curtis had always asked us, you guys gotta come hiking with me.
Yeah.
I love hiking. You gotta come.
And camping.
And camping, all that stuff.
All that good stuff, yeah.
So that was the breakup year of my marriage back in 2015. So I had some free time.
You did.
And I was picking my vacation for the year. And since her and I were not going to be together any longer, I called up Curtis and I said, when do you want to go hiking? I'll take those weeks off. And so he told me August. So I took 2 weeks off in August. 2 weeks. And we went, what was supposed to be, a 3-day hike.
3 days, yeah.
And it became a day and a half.
Yep, because the weather was terrible.
It started out really beautiful.
Yes.
And I had his hiking shoes because I didn't have my own, and they were a half size too small. So the first day was fine, but I woke up with blisters all over the place.
Oh, yes. I did not have proper wear either. It was terrible.
And we borrowed his hiking backpacks.
Yes.
And we picked up some supplies and all that kind of good stuff.
It was an experience.
It was an experience for sure. Not a good one.
No.
We woke up after that sleep, and it was raining.
Yeah.
And we, of course, did not have proper clothing.
No.
And we were supposed to go for another day and a half.
Yeah, it was very wet.
It was...
there was the
time you almost died.
The time I almost died, almost slipped on a big rock into the Great Lakes. I almost went.
Yes, you...
Somehow I didn't fall, but I came close.
If I remember correctly, we were trying to scale this cliff.
Yes.
And
the waves kept coming up and making
the rocks on the shore were very slippery, and they were at 45-degree angle.
Yeah.
And you slid right down, and
yes.
if there hadn't been an outcropping of rock, you would have gone right down and drowned.
Yep.
So that was a pretty scary experience.
It was.
That was the second day, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you and I, we were just wiped out.
We were done after that.
And we stopped and we told Curtis, listen, we're making an executive decision here. We need to be done.
Yes, and he agreed, thankfully.
Yeah, he would have kept going for the next day and a half.
Oh, he would have, yeah.
Because he's a hiker from way back.
Yeah.
But we stopped in the shelter, and he hitched a ride to the car, and he rescued us and brought us back because we were pretty much toast.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
that was quite the experience.
That was almost the end of little Robbie Koo.
It was.
Yeah.
It was almost your doom.
Almost.
But you saved yourself.
I saved myself because I'm a survivalist.
Right. That is true. You know all about survival. You're ready for the apocalypse.
Yes.
You're waiting to survive in the wastelands.
That's right.
But seriously, you think you would? Or would you be the first to go?
Oh, I wouldn't be the first to go, but I wouldn't be one of them. I don't know, honestly. I have no idea. I can't predict nothing. I feel like I would do okay for a little bit.
3 days?
Maybe about 3 days.
Yeah.
But
do you have your bug out bag?
Oh, I sure do. I got a whole bag of
bugs
and survival equipment, but
do you?
I got a couple things, nothing crazy, but
oh yeah,
I got tools to get me started. Let's just say that.
Do you know how to use them?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I trained diligently.
Oh, you did?
With them, yes.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
Yeah, because 3 years ago I did a STHF shit hits the fan survival episode.
Yes.
When I was all depressed, and that was my latest obsession was end of the world prepping.
That's right.
And
did you get us a bunker?
I never did get an underground bunker.
Failure.
Turns out those things are expensive and hard to build.
Yeah.
And with a severe lack of funds and know-how, I did not do such a thing.
That's fair.
But that's okay. That's fine. I did get some. What did I get? I got a tent, and I got some water filtration tablets, I think. Or did I not buy those? I can't remember. Fire starter stuff, and a little mini tent, and just random things, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it enough to survive for 8 years in the apocalypse?
No,
not at all. And I have not trained, and actually I haven't watched any of those YouTube videos for a while. I was watching,
probably a good thing.
I was watching all kinds of things.
Probably a good thing.
But I'm not depressed anymore.
That's awesome.
So
that's
maybe,
wonderful.
Maybe that's the difference.
I think that's the difference.
Yeah. And now that I'm not prepared anymore, that's when the world's going to
That's exactly it.
end, and we'll go out in the first wave. It'll be fine.
Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, this is Dr. Trek, Larry Nemechek, and you're listening to Soul Forge with Sean Vanderloo.
What else have we talked about on Soul Forge, Robin?
Oh, well, there has been lots.
There has been so many things.
So many things.
Yes. Let's see here. I'm just going to pull up the podcast app. We've talked about... Oh, we had Gaylin from Amore for Your Pleasure on the podcast quite a bit. And
that's
she talked
Amore.
about her adult toy store.
That's right,
yes. Yes, that's been a frequent guest. And we've had all kinds of random things. So a lot of pop culture, dad episodes, food-related episodes, talking about hosting yard sales. There's been so many different things.
It's quite the variety. So if you were to go through all 339 episodes of the Soul Forge podcast, I bet you just might find an episode or two that's right up your alley and that you would enjoy listening to.
It's true. There's been a lot of relationship-type episodes.
Oh, a ton of those.
A lot of travel-type episodes.
Lots of searching within.
Yes. We did one with you about what legacy we leave behind.
Yeah.
Yes, it's true. There's been so many fun episodes that if you have not gone through the back catalog or have not done so in quite a while, I think now is a great time, because I am going to leave the, the feed, I guess, up, because people are still discovering the podcast, and I still get between 5 and 35 downloads every day, depending. So the back catalog has been quite popular, so I'll leave that up. The whole reason I actually started this podcast was for my kid, so that he could listen to it years later from whenever. And
right.
I wonder what Dad was like when he was a kid,
Yeah.
And he could listen.
He could.
And I don't know that he will, But the fact that the option is there,
The option's there.
which I think is kind of important,
Yes.
because it's all about legacy. It's all about connecting with your family and your friends and all that kind of stuff.
And no better way to connect with somebody through pre-recorded audio.
Yeah, it's like messages from the past
That's right.
being sent to the future, so your future self can know what the past version of your favorite people were like.
There you
'Cause
go.
Don't you wish you had recordings from mom and dad,
Yeah.
or even writings?
Yeah.
Because our parents were not big into leaving stuff behind.
Not so much.
No,
Not so
no.
much.
Now, mom, of course, she was a great collector of all kinds of things.
Yes.
Like Tetley tea,
That's right.
memorabilia,
Mm-hmm. And cat pictures.
cat pictures. Oh yes, we used to get her cat pictures for Christmases and birthdays all the time.
Yeah.
And she had quite the collection of all the dead relatives left behind.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Because she couldn't get rid of anything because it was nostalgic and the memories were there, right?
That's right.
And I have some of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not good
No.
because I got a lot of crap now.
You do.
And there was one time our grandparents, I had a bunch of their stuff.
Yes.
And one of the things broke, like a little mini statue. And I'm like, brothers, do I fix it? Do I glue it back together? Do you guys want it? And you're like, no, chuck it. I'm like, but it was theirs, and they had it since before we were born. They're like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And it killed me inside, but I got rid of that stuff.
It does hurt to get rid of certain things from the past, but that's the lesson in it.
Yeah, yeah. If you don't shed the past, you can't move forward, I guess. That's right.
And
That's
the
true.
past can hurt, so you learn and you move on from it.
It's very true.
As said by Rafiki in The Lion King.
Is that true?
Yes.
Is that your favorite movie?
No.
Do you have a favorite movie? Let's
I've got a few of them.
Let's learn a little bit more about Robin here on the final Soul Forge.
Let's not.
No, you don't want to?
No, that's fine. Favorite movie? I don't even know. I can't pick my absolute favorite, but I'll give you a top 3 or 5, perhaps.
Sure, I'll take that.
The Mask with Jim Carrey.
Oh, that's still one of your favorites, eh?
Still one of my favorites. Always will be. Space Jam with Michael Jordan from the 90s.
Really?
It's always another. Yeah, it was fantastic. Mortal Kombat from 95.
Oh, yes.
And of course, what else was there? The Avengers from 2012,
Okay.
Iron Man. I they're all kind of blended, but yeah, I would say, Young Frankenstein is another one with Gene Wilder there.
Okay.
Fantastic movie, one of the best.
What about Suburban Commando with Hulk Hogan?
Oh, Suburban Commando with Hulk Hogan.
No,
I
no.
was frozen today. Yeah, you can't forget that. I watched the hell out of that growing up.
How about No Holds Barred with Zeus and Hogan?
Bard, yeah,
That's the horrible movie.
It was pretty bad, but good nostalgic.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I still have it on DVD, so I can watch it anytime.
Yeah, and do you?
No, I don't watch it very often.
No.
Every now and again.
Right. When you're feeling those feelings for the old times.
Yes.
Right. Exactly. Yes. Okay. So those are some of your top movies. Do you have some top bands or songs?
Absolutely. I am a rock and roller, you know.
I do know.
Yeah. So my favorite band / artist is Black Sabbath, Ozzy Osbourne.
Of course.
Favorite song generally is Paranoid by Black Sabbath. It's just a good feel good song. It just pumps you up, gets you going. But I also love wrestling theme music, entrance music.
Oh, Ass Man.
Ass Man, Billy Gunn.
Yes, we used to listen to that all the time.
Yes, we did.
When I still lived here.
Yeah.
And we'd drive around with that blasting.
Yes, we would.
Because we were losers. So,
It's a great song. And of course, you can't forget Shawn Michaels' "Sexy Boy" theme.
no, of course.
You know, that song. This doesn't matter if you like wrestling or not. If you're in a bad mood and you're feeling down in the dumps and you're just I implore you to crank up Shawn Michaels' theme music and just dance and jive out to it. Just let it take you and pull you up.
Do you have it on your phone?
Of course I do.
Let's play a little bit of a snippet here so I don't have to insert it later in editing.
Okay, sounds good.
Yes. And is that your favorite theme tune?
That's one of them.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. It just puts you in a really good mood and whatnot.
Well, that's something we could all use more of, is a good mood.
I agree. So here we go. This is it here.
Okay.
Okay.
Wow.
You didn't know what to expect, did you?
That's what does it for you, eh?
It just pumps you up. It makes you feel good, and especially if you sing along to it, I think it just kind of brings your morale up a little bit.
Okay.
Whether you're a sexy boy or you're not,
Right,
it'll
that
make
is-
you feel like one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I should try that one of these
You
days.
should.
Yes.
Just strut around the house, let it play, and just kind of let it do its own thing for you.
I will take that under advisement. Okay. Wow.
And if you don't agree with that, and if you don't like that theme music choice, well, I got 2 words for ya.
Oh.
Suck it.
Okay.
A little Degeneration X throwback, you know.
Yeah. Okay. Well, when it comes to wrestling, I don't know anything other than the stuff from 1986 to about 1990.
Okay. Well, have I got a documentary for you to watch?
Have you?
Yes, it's on Netflix, just released. It's all about Mr. McMahon.
Oh, Vince.
Vince McMahon, 6-episode miniseries documentary about him and his, let's say, trials and tribulations
Okay.
running the WWF/WWE. Yeah.
All right.
Interesting, but it was good. I enjoyed it.
Well, that's what matters. Okay. Good.
Yeah.
And do you have a favorite wrestler?
Yeah, sure. Growing up, it was always Hulk Hogan.
Anything less would be uncivilized.
Of course.
It was Ultimate Warrior.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the Macho Man.
Yes.
I enjoyed the Big Boss Man. And then, of course, there's Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, The Undertaker as well. But I would have to say, if I was to choose my ultimate favorite wrestler of all time,
Yes.
I gotta go with the whole effing show. Mr. Monday Night, Mr. Pay-Per-View, Rob Van Dam.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good. I don't know who that is. I've heard the name, but that's it.
Yeah.
All right. Don't you have his action figure?
I got a couple of them, yeah.
I thought so.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're into heavy music, wrestling, and Ninja Turtle cartoons.
Ninja Turtle cartoons, comics, Spider-Man comics, Marvel comics, DC comics. I like all the comics.
You like the comics.
I like the pop culture. I like the movies. I like the cartoons. I like to read. I like to read books. I like to read comics. I like to write things. I like to make things. I'm a creative individual.
You certainly are.
Yes.
And ladies out there in podcast land, this man is single.
Single, yes.
So if you're looking for somebody here who just described himself to a T, soulforgepodcast@gmail.com.
What is this, soulforgedating.com now?
Why not?
Why not?
Why not?
Yeah.
It can't hurt to advertise. That's
doesn't
what they
hurt.
say. And I'm going to keep the email address up because, well, I've had it for over 7 years, so why not?
Yeah, why not? Might as well.
That's it. Where do you see the future of Robin going? What's next on the
Straight
agenda?
to hell, brother.
Oh,
straight to hell.
straight
I
to
don't know. I honestly don't have a friggin' clue. I just keep trying to make things better or better myself or try to find the next adventure. I don't know. I honestly don't know what the future holds for me because you know what they say. You make plans, but don't plan the outcome.
Yes, I've heard that before.
And generally, anything I attempt to start or do goes either unfinished or blows up in my face. So
you go with the flow and see what happens.
I go with the flow and see what happens.
And that's worked out pretty well so far.
Yes.
That's how Dad did it.
And that's how America does it.
And it's worked out pretty well so far.
Indeed.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
it has. Yes.
That's how Dad did it. That's how America does it. And it's worked out pretty well so far.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, I don't know. After 7 years of soul forging and trying to find the I don't even know
The gold at the end of the rainbow?
Well, sure, but like the whole premise of this podcast, I think initially when it started was to go within.
Yes.
Find what was maybe bothering you or an issue and
it was to get over
acknowledging it
yeah.
and moving on
right
and building yourself up.
It was all about talking about the things that people don't talk about.
That's right.
Trying to start a conversation. Not that I got many emails or responses, but some. which was good. It was also self-therapy, trying to get over the loss of my marriage.
Yeah.
Probably trying to get over the loss of a bunch of relatives that we lost.
Yeah, we lost a lot of them.
Yeah, it's true. So that was difficult. And that's what the podcast was about. And then I wanted to expand into different topics and things, and it became a little bit of everything.
It's interesting. Maybe one day, it won't be today, but maybe one day, I'll have to go back and listen to just all the episodes that I was on.
Yes, definitely.
Just to see what we discussed,
right.
Where I was, and where I am now.
Yes.
And I can tell you, it's not fucking any better. But I'm still here, right?
You are still here.
I would consider, though, that, I mean, the podcast is a little bit therapeutic. I don't really divulge a lot.
No, true.
I keep a lot close to the chest, but it is, I have found it to be somewhat helpful in trying times. I keep considering doing my own podcast again, and I have nothing but time and opportunity to do so.
Right.
It's just, do I really want to?
Well, you did the Space Jam with your buddy Whit, and Whit was on the Soul Forge several times. He started out as a 28-year-old virgin 7 years ago.
Yes.
And now look at this guy. He's got 2 kids.
2 kids.
Is he married?
Not yet, but
they're engaged, right?
They're engaged.
And they just bought a house.
So
in 7 years, he went from nothing to everything.
Yeah.
And look at him go.
Look at him go.
Yeah.
Look at him go
and
now.
And he still threatens to start his own podcast again.
Yeah.
He's been talking about this for 3 years, and he hasn't done so. But
it's true.
He did tell me not too long ago that once they move into their new house, they will have a podcasting area. So maybe he will.
Maybe he will.
Yeah.
We're looking forward to hearing it.
We definitely are. Yes. So that's what's been going on. And we don't know what the future holds.
We don't know what the future holds. It's scary.
It is scary. Yes, because it's the great unknown.
The great unknown. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just ready for the aliens to come visit and take me away at this point. I'd like to go travel through the stars.
Wouldn't that be something?
Yeah.
Yes, on a journey.
On a journey.
Of discovery and exploration.
That's right.
That would be fun. Yeah, your real life Star Trek.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Well, imagine.
I can imagine. Yes.
Boldly go.
Where no one has gone before.
That's right.
It's true. But that's basically what we're talking about here on the final episode of the Soul Forge. Just a little bit of a wrap up. I was going to let it go for another few months, but there's no point.
There's no point.
People could tell that it's been running out of gas, and I've been doing repeat episodes. And really.
So I figure before we end this, we should have a little bit of fun. Call it Fun with Voices.
I like fun.
Fun with Voices. So we've got our podcast, we've got our podcasting voice, and the more I do these things, and I'll read books to like my son and stuff, and I always use a little different voice, and
right.
I like voice acting. And that's another one of those avenues I would like to pursue before anybody sends an email with, feedback on that and whatever. But I like the idea behind the voice acting. So, something I want to try to get into.
Right.
And I figure while we're here, while we're recording, why don't we try to use a little bit of different voice styles, different voices, and just see kind of how we do on that. And then we can listen to it back after.
Hi, McGregor. If it's not Scottish, it's crap.
That's pretty good.
Is that all right?
That's all right.
Okay.
Decent accent.
It's about the only one I can do.
Yeah.
Or I got my French one. Oh, it is hot like frying pan. Although that might be a little bit of Russian.
That sounds more Russian,
Because sometimes I am Boris. I am your Russian lover.
Oh, Boris the Russian lover.
I am Russian, but I am in no hurry.
It's not bad.
Well, that's what I got.
That's what you got.
Those are my accents.
Okay,
Yeah,
I don't necessarily do the accents very much or very well.
Do you do impressions?
Yeah, I do a little bit of impressions. I don't have many to work with, but one of my favorites was from the Red Green Show. If you remember the Red Green Show.
Yes.
And I used to see. I'm more of a cartoony, animated, very. What do you call this?
Moving with your hands.
Moving and lively type of person. So with Red Green, I would often imitate that show, Red and Harold. So it's one of my favorite sketches was with Bill. They would have the adventures with Bill, and they'd be like, and Red would be narrating, and like, all right, no, okay, yeah, all right, here comes Bill.
Bill. What's he got up his sleeve here? Oh, what's he doing there? Oh, watch out there, Bill. Look out. Oh, no. You know, something like that.
Okay, yeah, it's a little bit similar. It's not the exact same.
It's not the
him,
exact, but then and then you had Harold, his nephew, and he'd be like, oh, "Hey, Uncle Red, what are we gonna do at the Possum Lodge today, Red?" You know.
Yes, right.
But it's not very good. But that's kind of what I'm trying to find avenues to see what I can do with that.
Well, if you want to be a voice actor, your best bet is to talk to my good buddy Jarman over at the Play on Nerds podcast network. Ooh. He's a voice actor. He's doing it professionally full time.
Nice.
And that's who you want to talk to.
That is who I want to talk to.
Is Jarman. So, yes.
We'll have to get in touch.
We'll see what we can do. I'm going to see him this coming December when Lee and I go to Disneyland. World? Whatever is in Florida.
One of those Disneylands.
Yeah.
Maybe we can start doing movie trailer voiceovers.
Oh, yes, there you go.
In a world.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where something happens.
And I don't know.
Okay, well, that's good.
But yeah. So, we'd like to all thank you for tuning in to the Soul Forge podcast for the last 7 years, and we appreciate all your feedback.
That's true. It is very true. I do want to thank all of our listeners and anybody who's been a part of the Soul Forge, has been a guest, or emailed, or thought about emailing, or left a 5-star review in the podcatcher of their choice for a great 7-year run. It's had its ups and downs. You've seen me go through a ton of different life experiences.
Oh, it's true.
Yes. Especially Richard from Australia, who often comments on a lot of things. He's got some great insights, and I've always enjoyed his stuff there. But yeah, so once again, everybody out there in podcast land, thanks for listening. Please do subscribe to the Have Coffee, Will Travel podcast, because the further adventures of Sean are going to be detailed there for the next 7 years, or who knows how long. But until we meet again out there in the great void, take care of yourselves and each other. And remember, so long, and thanks for all the fish. Thank you for listening to this episode of The Soul Forge. I hope you found some value in it. To contact the show, please email soulforgepodcast@gmail.com or find us on Twitter at soulforgepod. We are Soul Forge Podcast on Facebook, and you can find me personally on Twitter and Instagram at Darth Vaderloo. Please spread the Soul Forge word by rating and reviewing us in iTunes and by telling everyone you know. Thanks for stopping by the Forge.
This has been a broadcast of the ESO Network. Be part of the crew and help support our shows by donating to our ESO Patreon or by shopping at the TeePublic store, which can all be found at www.esonetwork.com. The ESO Network, your station for all things geek.